Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music. How do you make your chords flow more smoothly? Well, this older video that I'm pulling forward today is about prepared dissonance. Dissonance, that feeling of like tension, right? And yet it's a really important part of what makes chords sound good as you move one to another. So we've got some great examples today to take a look at. So let's hop in.
Dissonant chords, chords that have spicy notes in them, play a very important role in a lot of today's music. I was just struck by how much in neo soul, in progressive rock, in even simple popular songs, suspended chords, ninths, added tones are really featured in chord progressions. Handling those notes, just those notes within the chord, is a real study. It's called prepared dissonance. Fortunately, there's just a couple of things you need to know to make it work for you. Let's take a look. I want to jump right in, but first I just want to say today's jacket is an experiment. I suspect that the stripes are going to look just horrible on video, but we'll just have to see. Listen, if you've watched a few of my videos, maybe some of the shorts on keyboard tricks or a couple of these in-depth looks at music theory techniques and ideas, or perhaps a review of something, and you haven't subscribed, now's the time to subscribe. At the very least, like this video. Help a fella out. Help grandpa out here. Listen, check out this chord progression. It's a very straightforward one. C, an inverted G, an inverted A minor, up to F. Let's go back down. C, an inverted G, an inverted A, and then that inverted F. Well, I mean, there's nothing particularly unusual about it. It's what we call the axis chords. Now, the axis chords appear in I don't know how many pop songs, and all of those chords are simple triads, and they're very sort of gently consonant. They have perfect fifths, which are perfect consonants, and they have major and minor thirds, which we call imperfect consonants. Imperfect consonances. They sound good, but they're not perfect intervals like unisons or octaves, fourths and fifths. Those are the perfect intervals. It's pretty okay, but it doesn't have much energy or propulsion. Let's figure out a way to make it work. Okay, the first thing I want to show is this. C, G, sus. This C from the first chord stayed put, and then that voice, you say that voice, and it's like a human being singing that note. Of course, it's not. It's just one of the sort of fingers or places in the chord, but we call it a voice in a chord. This voice dropped down, so we get, for a moment, a dissonant sound that resolves. It's exciting and interesting. We say that that dissonant note, C, was prepared. It appeared in the previous chord. It sort of stayed put into the second chord, G, and then resolved itself. And it's a much more interesting way of moving from chord to chord. Organ players, string arrangements, we all use this to make our chords flow more smoothly, more interestingly. Let's continue this exploration. So the next thing is to go from G to A minor. Now, there are no notes in common between a G triad and an A minor triad. Look at the motion again. G goes up to A minor. So if I want a little moment of tension, I might go G, A minor. What note was prepared? You probably can see it on the screen. The B stayed put and then resolved upwards in this case. It's very pretty. I mean, honestly, just super satisfying. Now, after the A minor, we're going to continue on up to F. And I got to say, it's really obvious to me what has to happen. My ear is telling me, here's my A minor chord. Here's my F. I'm going to hang on to this E on top. A minor, Oh, that's pretty. And I've just created a chord progression. Let's see if I can remember what I did. C, G, A minor, F. Each dissonant tone was prepared because it appeared in the previous triad. Preparing your dissonant tones lets the listener sort of accept that note, and yet it creates a little bit of friction and excitement. It's a powerful approach to making your chords move forward smoothly, and it's not terribly hard to do. This particular set of notes would benefit from having the second voice flipped up or down. Let's flip it up. Before I understood how dissonant chords were more interesting, I was really happy with just triads. But this little trick inside simple chords in a pop progression is very, very powerful. But how well does it work for more strongly dissonant notes? Well, it's just as effective, but you gotta prepare the note ahead of time. I'll show you what I mean. Listen to this kind of minor jazz progression. It would work beautifully in any neo-soul context or even sort of in a chill world. It's a little bit complicated. D minor, 7 flat 5, G7, flat 9, raised 5, C minor, major 7. There's a lot going on there, but let's take a look at the dissonant tones in the chord and how things move one to another. Just first of all, to begin, this D minor 7 flat 5 is a terrific sounding chord, and the flat 5 is really the dissonant tone. And it's gonna, let's assume it just kind of came out of nowhere, obviously, but it's gonna actually stay there. That dissonance is gonna carry over to the next chord. That's called evaporating dissonance. As it happens, that tone will also be dissonant to this chord. Okay, this is a G. It's a dominant chord. There's the major third, there's the 7th, and there are actually 2 dissonant tones here. There's a flat 9 and a beautiful raised 5 or flat 13. You can think of it any number of ways. Let's call it a flat 13. That flat 13 is a dissonant tone. I might be going a little bit fast, but stay with me if you can. The dissonant flat 13, E flat in the G7, becomes the minor third. The dissonance itself, the quality of friction, evaporates as it becomes the minor third. And by the same token, the major third of G, the B sitting here, becomes the major 7th of C minor. And C minor, major 7, that note right there, that's a dissonant tone. It's so interesting. I just love this example because it's got sort of a couple of everythings. And there's the A7 that might take us back to the D. We could, by the same token, go to E flat to get to the D, sort of sinking down. Prepared dissonance, evaporating dissonance. It's a fascinating way to use the idea of chords that really are very interesting but have moments of real friction, and use that friction to create just more flavorful backing tracks. Now, a singer could be very happy just singing a C minor scale over that, or a bluesy pentatonic would work really quite well. Sort of pentatonic sound, right? So it's not like the melody needs to have like blah, all those notes in it, but rather the backing track has to have some heft. And in modern music, if you're trying to stand out and trying to kind of create an identity for yourself, one way is to have chords that have a little more juice. Hey, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe, ding the bell. You'll be notified when I do my videos. Subscribe to the channel. I'm so glad you're learning more about music. I'll see you next time.